We should probably do this show.
Boy.
A lot of things to talk about in this movie.
I mean, yeah.
Somebody made this movie.
I don't want to say anything. Hold on. Let me get ready. I think today's a backwards cat day. I'm getting fired up. Let's go!
Hey, watch him! With Dan and Tony! Hey, watch him! With Dan and Tony! It's Hey, watch him, yeah!
Welcome to Hey Watching with Dan and Tony. I am Dan!
And I am Tony!
This is the show that dares to take you in a time capsule machine back to 1997.
I wish that we could get into a time capsule and travel back to 1997, Dan. That would be a wonderful time for me. What were you doing in 97?
Mm.
You don't even know? How old were you? 50? 55?
Wow. Wow. No, I was born in 65, so that would have been 32. I would have been
a full-grown man.
I'd have still been working a job. I think I worked a job till 99. I quit my job and never worked a job again.
Were you like working at an art gallery? You feel like an art gallery guy to me.
I worked at an art gallery at one point, but I worked at a place that moved artwork and crated and packed it. And I was a crating guy. I made all the crates, which was
you made the crate.
Mm-hmm.
Like you put it. Is that how you make crates? I don't know how to make a crate.
Yeah, you have like a big shop, and you have plywood, and you have 1x4s, and then you make you measure the art, and then you make a little square, and then you make a front and a back, and then you use a big nail gun. Boom, 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 boom.
Oh, scary!
Yeah,
remember in one of the Lethal Weapons, that's how he kills a guy.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Actually, we didn't have a nail gun. We had a staple gun. You don't use nail guns. Not usually
too serious. Too serious for one of those 1x4s.
Staples are better, right? Because it's it's a little
because it's two tongs.
It's a little C. It's two tongs, and so those go in straighter, right? You use glue. And you go, and
so you set it with glue and then secure it with staples.
The glue is the long-term thing. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
But the key to it is that, like a nail, when that big head goes into wood, it kind of
splitting stuff. Yeah,
causes more cracking as opposed to a staple, which doesn't do as much of that. But yeah, that's what we used to do.
Listen, you're welcome, everybody. This has been a very interesting conversation already.
Yeah, I loved it. I love making crates.
Why'd you quit? Crate man?
Because I didn't want to work anymore.
Oh, okay. I still make crates in my own time. I just don't want to get paid for it.
I mean, if I had my own shop, I'd make crates. When I had to ship big things that are heavy.
Good sale crates.
Yeah, crates are fun. And occasionally, I still make it. If to ship something that's big and heavy.
See, I knew it. I knew you still made crates at home.
I'll go and I'll get all the wood cut at the lumber store.
Oh, of course,
and then I'll screw it all together here.
Yeah, well, because you don't really have a place to cut it. I mean, we live in apartments. It's not like you can just set up shop in your living room and start sawing stuff. That's no good.
I mean, I have my scroll saw, and I used to have a chop saw, and now I have to carry them out by the
okay. And for those uninitiated like myself, what kind of saws are those two saws? Crop saw? Is that what you said?
Scroll saw. Scroll saw is a little one that has a little blade that you can, make fine.
So it's for finer movements.
Like if you were wanted to make like a jigsaw puzzle, you could make that with a scroll saw.
Oh, okay. Did you ever make a jigsaw puzzle?
No, I've never made a jigsaw puzzle.
Okay. Well, you should probably do that. Make custom ones. I think people would love that.
There are people that make very high-end custom wood puzzles. And then a chop saw is one that just goes shing. And so
that's the one that I slide the wood into and I like that?
Yeah.
Okay. I think I've used that before.
But you don't use a chop saw in a shop. You have a radial arm saw, which is the same thing, but you pull it out towards you. So it's this
like at Home Depot, like they have at the Home Depot. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I've seen those. I don't use those.
And of course you have a table saw, which is like everyone dreams of having the table saw. Table saw is
great. Oh, they do. Mm-hmm. I have never dreamt that. I've never had that dream, Dan.
Table saw. Oh.
I've had a dream of having a kitchen table because I've never had one of those, but not a table saw.
You've led a sad life. So on this show, we talk about our lives, but we also talk about movies, because we're from Hollywood.
And this week,
was going to call you Wendy because that's
you're going to call me Wendy.
My aunt and uncle, Tony and Wendy. So I was going to call you Wendy.
So now I don't even get to be the uncle in that situation.
No, Tony.
How did I become the aunt already? Oh, right. That's cool, man. That's cool. I get it.
Tony picked a movie this week. Tony, why don't you tell us about the movie?
Well, I mean, I don't know where it came from. This is just one of those movies that's been on my list for a while. And I definitely saw it. I just want to be clear. I've definitely seen it before. I don't know if I sought it out back in the day when it came out, or maybe it was on rerun somewhere. Maybe they aired it on television. Maybe. I don't know. I've definitely seen it, but never, I don't think on purpose. And it's just one of those movies that got everything wrong and everybody knows. And so it's just time to do it. And this is, of course, Speed 2 Cruise Control.
Yeah, I've never seen this movie. I do remember at one point in the last 10 years, I watched the ending where the boat crashes into the thing. I know I watched that scene at one point.
Because it's so riveting. You were like, I need to see this scene.
And they spend a lot of money on that scene.
Oh, I can imagine.
And it's just like
the most lackluster thing you've ever seen in your life. Yeah, I agreed.
There was some movie where there was a tidal wave, and then they had the tidal wave come in, and then the people were running away and trying to survive.
Sure.
Ooh, so scary.
Yeah, that sounds great. Is that Deep Impact by any chance?
No, it's like a real movie. Like not a.
Okay, first of all, how dare you? Deep Impact is a great film. Are you not a disaster movie fan? I feel like you didn't like Twister.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm unbelievable. Twister is incredible. Paxton, come on, man.
I grew up in the 70s, so I did all the 70s disaster films. Like
so was that Inferno?
Towering Inferno?
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Which I've never seen, but I hear is great.
No, they're terrible. Oh God, they're most of them.
But
just terrible.
I don't think you like them, Dan. I don't think that your opinion on disaster movies is what we're gonna go with.
Poseidon Adventure.
Oh, the Poseidon Adventure, sure.
Where the ship turns over, then they have to climb through the ship. That one's pretty funny. I've rewatched some of that one. It's very silly. And then there was, which makes sense with this movie. There was one called Juggernaut, where they were.
I've never heard of this.
Yeah, because it's a good movie. There's like the bad guy, and he plants all these bombs on a ship, and then he's all like, "You got to pay the ransom, or I'll blow up the ship." And
Anthony Hopkins?
Yeah, and then
holy crap!
And then they fly a couple of bomb guys onto the ship, and then they have to work their way around, and they have to figure out. I want to watch this movie again to see if it's. I think if it's
I'm interested in watching this. Yeah.
But it's like tense and it's like real, and it's, the end thing is the red wire, blue wire, red wire, blue wire. You're just like, red wire, blue wire. When's he gonna cut? Never gonna die. And this movie, where a guy sort of does some stuff on a ship, and it's the same sort of movie. And never once do you have. Was there any level of tension in this movie at all ever?
There was some tension between Sandra Bullock and Jason Patric. I felt like they had some tension, not in like a sexual chemistry way, in like a way I don't think they necessarily liked each other. That's complete conjecture. I have no knowledge of that whatsoever, but they have zero chemistry, and half the time I feel like he's annoyed with her.
Well, I have some inside information.
Oh, you do?
Not in books. Not on the internet.
Are there books about this?
My wife went to school with Jason Patric.
She did?
Yeah, she did.
What was he like in school, Dan? Can we spread this around? Is this allowed?
This is the dirt that she said I was allowed to say.
This isn't even he said, she said. She has firsthand knowledge. This is the best.
He was a loner. Yeah, loner.
I get that. He seems very, very lone wolf kind of guy, doesn't he? Yeah. I get that big time.
Yeah.
Was he attractive? Like, were ladies like mysterious? He's mysterious, or was it just kind of like, okay, he's a weird guy?
I didn't ask her that.
All right,
Shannon.
Yeah, get her in here. Get her on the pod.
Now, in the old Jason Patric days, when you were in high school with him, Were the girls intrigued? Was he like one of the good-looking guy that everybody was like, "Oh, I want to"?
Yeah, was he like James Dean, brooding, mysterious guy? Wait, what was that, Dan?
Yeah.
Crack off a piece of that.
Crack
Kit Kat
off
bar.
a piece. Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
he never dated anybody at school.
But he never dated anybody
Smart.
at school.
And he
Smart.
never
You don't
had
want to
a
mix that.
class, so we kind of thought maybe since he was a theater kid.
Oh, he's a theater kid. So
He's a theater kid.
they
Good
had
for
some
him.
questions about his sexuality.
Sure,
Which
I
is
get
fine.
that.
We were more
mean, it was-
interested in his dad, actually.
You were what?
More interested in talking to his dad.
They're marched to the dad, who was the star.
Is he
of the
famous?
He was star of The Exorcist. He played Father
Oh,
Karras. Father Karras.
Father Karras. So
I
he
think
played.
Okay.
He was dead by then.
But she thinks he was dead by then.
okay. That took a real turn, by the way. We're
went
definitely
dark.
more interested in the dad, but he's
We
dead.
used to
He's
get the
super dead.
dirt From the resident, like, super gay guy who was in the theater.
Oh, there's a super gay guy in the
Okay.
theater that give them the dirt on him.
Sure.
So he was not, he was a good looking guy, but
Good looking guy, dark, mysterious, kept to himself, built his body a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All that makes sense to me. If I'm just being completely honest, I feel like if I had guessed what he was like in high school, that would have been close to what I guessed.
Yeah, and I read something about this movie. He said that he never even saw the movie after it came out.
I mean, good for him.
Lucky him. Good move on his part.
I feel like that's one of those things where you would watch it and be like, well, I suck. Boy, oh boy, I got to quit the biz because I'm terrible. And he's not terrible. It has nothing to do with him. Well, maybe not nothing. But, it's not his fault for sure. This movie is not good, top to bottom.
The writing is terrible on this movie. The plot is terrible.
Yep.
The motivations are terrible. The setups are terrible.
The
action is terrible.
sequelness of it is terrible because I did a double header this week and I watched the original Speed and then immediately watched Speed 2, and it is wild how misrepresented she is in the second movie as compared to the first.
Because she was like super great, Miss America's sweetheart. Everybody fell in love with her. And in this movie, you're just like, well, she's very attractive.
Sure, but she's like ditzy and like,
oh, really?
Incapable of, like, the driving test is wild, right? She drove a bus. She jumped in and drove a bus, but she can't drive a car all of a sudden? Like, why would you even do that? That's so weird. She's the one person that was like, you know what? I'll jump in and I will drive a fucking bus for 4 hours at plus 55 miles per hour, right? Like, why she can't drive a car? It doesn't make any sense, Dan.
Yeah. The characters are unappealing, and you never go like, oh, I hope they do okay. You're just like, things keep happening.
There are parts of this movie where I'm like, is Jason Patrick the bad guy? Because he's giving me bad guy vibes right now. I don't know.
There are parts at the end where I was like, wait, how did they get on that thing? Because I was
you
not
can't
paying
worry
attention.
about that. Wait, where are we now?
I was like, wait, the bad guy's still alive? I thought he died. Yeah, he's still alive.
He never dies.
Top of a pole. I'm like, wait, what?
Oh my God. Well, we got to talk about that either way, because that is ridiculous.
Okay, we start some rousing music, the titles, dun, 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 across the sea, and then onto the streets, and then a motorcycle.
Why did we start in the sea?
I don't know.
It's weird. Make any sense. We're like, all of our credits are on the ocean, and then we do a hard cut to a motorcycle. I was like, wait a second. Have the credits somewhere else.
No, they start by cruising over the sea, then they're cruising over the land.
Oh,
and then
it's
we
pavement.
get the motorcycle.
That's right. You're right.
We have transition between these things. There's no
but
reason.
That means nothing.
There's no reason why we start on the water, because we're not doing anything with the water initially.
No, in the first one, I don't know if you remember, there's a nice, a very long, a little too long, but a tracking shot down an elevator shaft as the credits roll.
Oh, sure.
Because
that makes sense.
he's in an elevator. The whole first set piece is an elevator. So it all makes sense. This doesn't make any sense.
And I believe in the setup of the first one, it's a tense setup.
Dude.
Jeff Daniels gets like hurt seriously, and you're worried about he's going to die, right?
Well, I mean, spoiler alerts for the original Speed, everybody.
We got to warn you.
But basically, there's people trapped in an elevator. the bad guy is going to drop them if they don't give him money. They save them, but then they chase him down, and Jeff Daniels gets captured, and Keanu Reeves shoots him in the leg in order to not have him bring.
So he can't take him with him.
Exactly.
He slows down. The bad guy would be slowed down if he has to take him.
Yeah, and it's a wonderful, wonderful moment, and there's humor. It's tense. You think people are going to die. Like, it's really good. This opening scene, you're like, holy shit, this is a movie. And this movie is not that at all.
It's this terrible motorcycle chase of a guy chasing after a diaper delivery van that a guy has stolen some electronics. This is our big setup for our movie. You know, we have to match Speed 1.
And it's so weird, Dan, because in Speed 1, the whole setup is it's the same guy, right? Like, Keanu Reeves foils his plan, so then the next plan is basically revenge on him.
Yeah,
like it all ties together. This one is like, well, Sandra Bullock doesn't know what he does for a living, so that's why we're doing this.
Yeah, what? She's taking her driver's test at the same time, and then she meets up with him, and she finds out that he's a daredevil cop, just like her earlier boyfriend, and she doesn't want a daredevil cop, and he's been lying to her.
And then we just kind of drop that, by the way, for the rest of the movie. But here's my big question, Dan.
Yeah, big question.
My biggest problem with this whole movie.
Biggest problem.
Okay.
Is the camera work.
Okay. I mean, I have lots of problems, but this is what threw me the most is that Jason Patrick is off on a motorcycle mission, right? But she thinks he works at like the beach. He's beach patrol or something, which doesn't make any sense.
He does that sometimes. He says there's a line.
Okay, great.
Sometimes I fill in at the beach.
His boss, the guy who's calling the shots, is the same boss from the first one.
Yes.
So where is Keanu Reeves? This is the same. Not only is it the same precinct,
it's the same unit, isn't it?
It's the exact same unit. Like, from my understanding, Jason Patrick, Keanu Reeves' characters are best friends. They work together every day. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's so confusing.
Well, I'm going to tell you something.
Okay, tell it to me.
This whole movie is like about giving the people that the director guy likes money. Right, so he let that guy, he let the guy in the other movie come be in this movie. The guy at the end that had his car taken in the chase, he's riding a boat. He's given a
so
job.
Good in the first movie, by the way. He's so funny in that scene.
Yeah, because it's a scene. Yeah,
100%. But like, I watched that scene and literally, I turned to Naomi. I was like, I hope he worked again because he's really good. Turns out he's worked a bunch, just like a ton. Still working now, from what we could tell, which is amazing and that's awesome. But then he showed up in Speed 2, and I was like, oh no, he almost ruined the career with this coming back. Don't come back.
And that's he he has UB40 do music in one of the scenes, and he just got a lot of people paid, I think, with this movie, and it kind of shows. This movie kind of shows that like everybody's kind of having too much fun, and it becomes so unserious because the first Speed was pretty serious.
I mean, it's super serious.
They had jokes in it, but this one, they were like, we'll make this a fun romp. And you're like, no.
That's not what we want.
Yeah, because when it does get to things that are supposed to mean something, we're like, no, I don't buy it.
I don't buy it at all. I just can't believe it's the same director. I didn't know that going in, and I was shocked.
Was it the same director?
It's the same director.
He's not the same. He's not the director of photography on that first one?
No, he's the director.
Oh,
John Bonvant. That was really insensitive what I just said. That's not his name. I apologize. Let me look it up so I can say it correctly real quick. John de Bon. That's how I'm gonna say it.
And
but he wrote the second one.
Oh, okay.
I think that's where the big problem comes in, is that he didn't write the first one. There was two writers that wrote the first one. They had pitches. He was like, nah. And then he co-wrote it with someone else, the second one. And then that's your problem. That's your problem right there.
But isn't this one also based on the second Die Hard like a second Die Hard movie pitch or something?
Well,
weird?
so it's like, from my understanding is, this was a Die Hard pitch, and they were like, nah, Bruce Willis shut it down. I think it was a script. Bruce Willis thought it was too generic to be a Die Hard, and then they retooled it to be Speed 2.
So this movie at times does feel way more like a Die Hard movie than it does.
But a bad one.
But a bad one because it's not him. You know, that one of the other main problems with this movie is it's not about the two of them working together to get somewhere. It's sort of him being John McClane and then her sort of being a hostage or a person that maybe is running a side quest.
100%. And that's not what Keanu Reeves is. Not John McClane. No. Like, Keanu Reeves isn't a guy in the wrong place at the right time, right? Yeah. Keanu Reeves is a guy doing his job. Straight top to bottom. He's LAPD. This is his job. He's just good at it, right? Like, he goes above and beyond the Call of Duty, jumps on the bus and, to save everybody. That's great. But he's not already on the bus as a passenger, and then it's like, oh, now there's a bomb, and he has to then step up. That's not what it is.
It is a different character bit, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
The other thing is, I realized an easy way that you could have made this a better movie.
Great, I'm listening.
Make him a firefighter.
With all the fires on the boat that aren't fires, and he already knows that. That's actually really smart. And also, Jason Patric plays a firefighter. He plays a guy playing a firefighter in Entourage, so he's already ready. He's got it down. He's gonna be good.
Yeah, because the firefighter.
I love that. No, that's a great idea.
Would have made more sense. It would have been a lateral move, and you could have made some really nice set piece at the beginning where he does something, and then she's walking by, and she's all like, she sees him coming down on the thing, and she's all like, "Wait, I thought you worked a dispatch or something." And it's like, well,
and it would just make more sense than her being like, "I would never date a cop. Hey, I'm going to date the next cop I see." It just doesn't make sense.
It's weird.
Just don't have her write that. Have them break up for a different reason. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't, it's bizarre.
He moved to Venezuela and I didn't want to go.
Great.
Okay.
Great. He left his unit, and then the guy that they hired in the new unit, I decided to date instead. Great.
So he buys them cruise tickets. So they're going to go on a cruise. And then his idea is to propose to her.
Let me tell you why this is confusing to you.
Why is this confusing?
They're having a conversation when he brings up the cruise.
Yes.
She's like, "It's been 7 months and I feel like I don't know you." And he's like, "Hey, let's go on a cruise, get to know each other."
Yeah.
First of all, it's been 7 months and you guys don't know each other. It's not a good start. But also, he's going to propose to her, even though his pitch is, let's go on a cruise and get to know each other. That doesn't make sense. There's a big gap between get to know each other and let's get hitched.
And it's also that the man wants to push forward a marriage is not your typical trope, and it's not true to the world either.
I mean, I do get it because it's Sandy B. You know what I'm saying? But also, like, it doesn't feel like this guy's character at all.
No, it doesn't.
It's nothing. Yeah.
This guy does not feel like he never acts like he needs her, or even.
No, in fact, he sends her away almost every chance he gets. He's like, you know what? You go with them. Go with the helpless people. I'm going to go save the day.
And like the very first night, he gets up early because she was sleeping and he didn't want to disturb her, and he's out skeet shooting.
I mean, yeah.
And it's like, I understand that they were trying to set up a dynamic that they, that he does these kind of things, but that's who he is.
Exactly.
He's not 100%. The romantic guy.
No, he doesn't need a wife, No.
So they have this great suite, which you're like, who's paying for? Oh, so we meet Willem Dafoe, who's playing Geiger, who's the bad guy, and he's all like, "Where are my golf clubs? Where are my golf clubs? My golf clubs!"
Which is kind of weird, because, like, when you go on a cruise, are there a lot of golf excursions? I've been on a couple of cruises, and I've never seen a golf excursion. I could be wrong. I'm not sure. They were going to the Bahamas, right? Isn't that what they said?
Sure.
Are there a lot of golf courses in the Bahamas? I don't know.
In my experience, of the things I've read about cruises is you go and you're there for like 2 or 3 hours and then you get back on
and then
boat.
you're out. Yeah. It's it's like a half a day usually.
You don't have like 12 hours or 9 hours where you can get off.
You do breakfast on the boat usually, and then you do dinner on the boat. So you have like the afternoon to go do your own thing. And there's things you can sign up for. There's tours and stuff, you know. We generally don't do those. We like to just go shopping.
Oh.
You've never been on a cruise, Dan? Should the four of us go on an Alaskan cruise?
No.
Would you do Alaska? No? You don't like the cold?
No. We went to Mexico and stayed in an all-inclusive resort, and that was great.
Oh, that's fun. I love those.
The food was...
You eat as much as you want, too, right?
So much good food.
Yeah, very nice.
Fresh fruit.
Good for you.
Greatest salads ever. Okay, so Geiger's our bad guy. We see that Alex has brought the ring. We do this weird musical number, and wait, does she dance with Geiger? Is that what happens? It's just like there's like this weird.
I mean, they're all dancing. I don't know if she dances. She definitely talks with him, right?
Talks with. Oh yeah, she talks with him, and then he gets jealous, and he's all like,
your boyfriend.
Who's your boyfriend over there at the bar?" You're just like.
There's also a really weird moment that he, as a cop, he should have clocked when Sandy walks away from Willem Dafoe. Dafoe gives like the creepiest Dafoe checkout ever. He's like leering at her and he does a weird smile. And, you know, when it comes from like a charming person, I'm sure it's fine. But when it comes from Dafoe, you're like red flag, red flag, red flag. Someone get him off the boat. There's
one point in this where he like opens his eyes real wide and he goes like... You're just like, whoa. I mean, it's when he's being a crazy
course,
bad
it's
guy,
a little, but the Green Goblin's coming out. You know what I mean?
But he clocks that he's not watching the golf on the TV.
Yeah,
but he wants his golf clubs, and he's all like, mysterious.
Which honestly, there's a lot of people that love to golf that don't like to watch golf because watching golf is boring as shit. Nothing happens, and I love it. Like, I'll watch a golf on Sunday morning. That's fine with me because I'm a big, fat, lazy slop. You know what I mean? But not everybody likes to watch golf. That has nothing to do with it. That's terrible detective work.
But there's like 2 or 3 detective moments in here, and they're all equivalent to that, where you're just like,
right. I don't think so.
I understand he's the bad guy, and you're going to have to figure it out. But that's not to figure it out.
This is a logical leap.
So Geiger, we see that Geiger's in his room. He's unscrewing the golf clubs. The golf clubs are bombs. The golf balls are bombs. He's got leeches.
Bombs, and he's got leeches.
I'm like, who's he going to use these leeches on? Well,
himself.
Spoilers. He has designed the computer system on the ship.
Yeah.
He's angry at them. And so he's going to maybe destroy the ship or maybe steal all the gems on the ship.
Bit of both.
Or both.
You know? A little bit of both.
I don't know what he's dying because he got copper poisoning because he worked with computers, all not things. And he's using the leeches to leech the copper out of him so that he stays alive. Not a thing also.
I mean, the leech therapy is a thing, right? Like, I've seen that before. That's a real thing. But I don't know exactly what it's used for. Do you know what, like, in general, what it's actually used for?
I looked around. I didn't see that this could do anything. I mean, it's just, it's so weird because you're doing the leech thing, just doing it to be weird. Right?
Oh, well, listen. And yes, I mean, 100%, because it is weird and it freaks me out. And Willem Dafoe 1,000,000% using real leeches on his body, which freaked me out to no end. Like, have you ever been in a lake and it come out with a leech on you? It's the scariest thing ever. You look down and something's like sucking out. It's terrifying, man. I hate. One time I had a leech on my tuchus and I didn't know for like an hour. And I was like, I'm dead. I'm going to die. And then the longer they're on, the harder they are to get out. It doesn't matter. But anyhow, leech therapy. I'm just Google. This is Google. this is not me, is a medical treatment that uses leeches to improve blood flow and circulation in a specific area. So it's kind of like cupping because they're sucking the blood out of it. So like, I guess it would increase blood flow to it.
It probably, it has a decoagulant in its saliva or whatever.
Sure, because
right?
that's how they get the blood.
It doesn't want you clogging up, but it wants the blood to flow. So maybe that decoagulant also goes back in you and makes sure lets your blood go.
That checks out. Yeah. Nothing to do with copper.
It seems like a big stretch, and so it's like it's just to be weird.
Well, it works. It is weird.
The funniest thing I saw online, someone was like, movies that you could easily defeat the bad guy, but they don't get around to doing it. And they were like, you just need to take his leeches away because he'll die of the copper poisoning. And you're kind of like, well, he's still going to die of the copper poisoning.
Right. Like that's his whole plan. He is dying. He's not staying alive. This is his last plan. This is his big out.
He doesn't need leech therapy every 45 minutes to survive.
Right. He's not going to die immediately. Like in this 2-week cruise, if he doesn't have his leeches, he's going to be fine. He's going to live through it, guys.
And he doesn't, the supposed copper poisoning, there's never any effect to him. Right,
No, he seems fine. Well, it's the leeches. He's totally fine.
The thing about poisonings that kill you, all sorts of bad things should be happening to you, I would think.
Oh, your body's shutting down left and right. Like it's being poisoned. Yeah.
Okay, so that's him. Boom, we're doing I think we might be at a. No, he did dance. She did dance. No, they dance. He and her dance. Geiger with the leeches.
Yeah, they boogie.
He starts going around in the secret place rooms in the ship and starts, turning things and, clicking switches and fucking things. And he sneaks into he sneaks up to the bridge and plants a thing where he can listen to them. And then at some point, he's like saying their lines along with them.
Before they say it.
I didn't understand. I was like, oh, one of these guys is a plant. And he's like talking to him and saying, now say
but
this.
It's the other way around. That's how you know it's not it because I don't know. It's so weird.
That was one of the weirdest scenes in the whole movie. It's like, what is happening?
Well, he just knows how they're going to react because he's so smart because he designed these computer systems.
And, there's one thing we know about people that design computer systems. They know human beings really well.
So well. So That's one of the classic tropes of computer nerds is they're people.
So we have the dinner. There's like overweight people. There's a deaf child. There's the Diamond Jewelers of America. We're like, oh, that's what this is about. The Diamond Jewelers of America. He's going to act like he's trying to blow up the ship, but really he's trying to steal all the diamonds.
Because 100%, when this was a Die Hard movie, that was the plot. Mm-hmm. Like, without a doubt. Because they're always like, oh, it's a terrorist, but really we're just after money because money. Which is great. Yeah. So but as a speed movie, they were like, well, that can't be the point of the movie. So, like, he's got to do both, I guess. I don't know.
Yes, be angry at them. He almost proposes, but then she's all like, you're not going to propose to me, basically. And he's all like, no. Yep. No,
you're right. Right. I'm definitely not. Definitely not. Never would.
Ooh, put that away. And I think, was he underdressed? Because at one point he has to buy a tuxedo to make her happy.
So she says it. The next day they like see suits in a window, dress clothes in a window. She's like, "Did you feel underdressed last night?" And then they buy new clothes. I guess.
It was weird.
I don't know. I assume that at some point he showed up in a tux for a scene, and they're like, "Why is he in a tux?" Do we need to add a scene where they talk about buying a tux? I don't know. It's too confusing. Audiences won't follow it.
So he breaks into the engine room. He breaks into the power supply. He's doing everything. Alex sleeps. Geiger leeches himself. Alex is skeet shooting. We talked about that.
Wait, hold on. I have two questions. One, back at the dinner with all the fat people. Why are the fat people talking about weight loss? That's like their company is weight loss, and they're like, we believe in fats. Fats are good for you for weight loss. Who wrote that? Who thought that was a good idea? It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
All these bonus characters that we spend time with that are supposed to be comic relief or something.
Yeah,
every scene that
zeros.
we cut to them, we just don't want to be in those scenes. We're just like, get us away. Do not rescue them from the burning hall. No.
Yeah, just leave them. Leave them. Okay, the second question is about this skeet shooting.
Yeah.
Is he doing that into the ocean? Are they throwing the clay pigeons into the ocean, exploding clay pigeons, and then fish are eating the clay?
I don't know why the fish would eat the clay.
Because they're just polluting our oceans. Something's going to eat it, Dan.
Okay, and they're going to eat a piece of clay, and that's going to do what?
You don't know what fishes eat and fishes don't eat. But it's just, why are we throwing stuff into the ocean on purpose? I don't understand the point of that. And he's throwing bullets. All bad.
Well, you're not throwing bullets. He's skeet shooting, and so you're shooting a shotgun, which is shooting shot, which pellets. Is metal.
It's little pellets. Yeah. Which, guess what? The fish are going to eat the pellets, Dan.
Yeah. What's going to happen to fish if they eat a metal pellet?
Who knows? I've never seen a fish eat a pellet, but I bet it's not good. I bet it's bad for them.
Why would it
They're
be bad
probably going to get copper poisoning. Unbelievable.
It's not a copper pellet.
I understand it's not copper.
If it's lead shot, that's probably not good for the fish to eat.
It's bad. You shouldn't be doing this into the ocean. Jeez, I think it's weird.
Yeah, we got save the ocean. Save the ocean.
You're against saving the oceans here? You're Dan Goodsell anti-ocean. Putting his flag down right now.
Comes out against the ocean. I'm against the ocean, basically. Okay. Then they have their sort of argument, I like taking care of you because he fell asleep because he said he was seasick, but we didn't believe him.
He vomited.
Oh, did he vomit?
Yeah, they do like a pan from the bathroom or maybe not bathroom, maybe a wastebasket that's like covered in dried vomit. It was really unnecessary and gross.
Glad I was writing something down when that happened. And once again, this never comes up again. He never gets seasick again. It's just
Not only does he never get sick again, but she never takes care of him again. He doesn't let her take care of him. Like he's very against that. This is a dumb movie.
And she says to him, I don't even know your cop number.
Yep.
No one would ever say that. No one would ever say your cop number.
It doesn't make any sense.
No one would say
but also, who cares? Why do you need to know his badge number? I've never dated a cop. I'll just say that, but I don't know what good knowing the badge number would be. But they try to make it like a very special moment later in the film where he tells her his badge number, and that's the moment where you're like, oh, he's in love. Yep. Yeah, he loves her. He gave her the badge number. What a guy.
Very weird.
What the hell?
Let's see. Boom, boom, boom. Geiger gets the purser. The purser comes in his room and Geiger captures him, and now he has a purser's outfit that he can walk around in. We later find out that he kept the purser in a closet and didn't just kill him.
But also, why didn't that guy just leave the closet?
Well, he's tied up, I assume.
So? Roll out of the closet.
Well, he might be locked in the closet. Trapped in the closet.
Trapped in the closet. They open the closet later and he's just in there. Hey guys, I'm in the closet. Okay, why are you still there, bro? Get out. The guy Willem Dafoe hasn't been in that room for a day. You've had time to figure out your life.
He's just taking a nap. The ship is now 4% off course. Then we do the tuxedo, and he also bought her lingerie, I think.
Yeah, well, I think that was the fancy clothes, but he just, went sexy instead of fancy.
And now Willem Dafoe meets the captain and sort of yells at him and then hits him with this piece of metal, and then he just throws the captain overboard very easily.
Now, was it like a lookout? One of those, what are these called? Binoculars? Kind of like they have at the Empire State Building up top.
No.
Where you can look. No, that's not what it was. Okay, I don't know what he hit him with.
There's a thing you sort of swing over the side maybe for ropes or something. I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know.
It feels as if it was something he could easily have gotten out of.
If you mean just he could have stepped back like 1 foot and avoided it? Or
just
he could have
one step.
He could have just run away from him and been like, "There's this weird guy doing weird stuff." No, he's like keep standing there. I'm listening to you, and you're battering
and just
me with this thing.
With the
keep
thing,
battering me with this thing. You're just like, how does he have control over this captain that's an adult male? I don't know.
It's weird. And then he just falls over the edge.
And then some other people come up, and then we don't even do a thing with having them hear the captain yelling.
No, they take a picture with him because they're Willem Dafoe fans.
No increase in tension, nothing.
Nope.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about the deaf girl and the weirdness between her and
Mr. Patrick.
Mr. Patrick. It's so
weird. She's
weird.
Almost 15. Who puts that in a story? Who writes that and thinks that this is okay to say?
He leers at her a couple of times. He literally leers at her like he's interested in her.
Yeah, here's the thing: is there's a lot of movies where younger people of either sex, gender, right, fall in love with older people, and it's always unrequited, right?
But Blake check.
But maybe okay, maybe not always, but there are points in this movie where I agree with her. Where I'm like, no, I think he's into you. You are getting mixed signals at best, because there are points where he's looking at her. I'm like, he wants to fuck her. Like I'm pretty sure he's into this. It's weird, dude. It's super
so
weird.
So weird.
Take it out. No reason for that to be in the story.
No.
None at all. It just makes me not like Jason Patrick very much because he's kind of weird.
It's gross. Okay.
But she's great, by the way. I don't know why she's in the movie, but I think she does a great job.
Yeah, she does fine. Geiger turns off the engines. They're off dancing. And then he's like, I think we should. And then because they turned off the engines.
Okay, so you're confused by this too. Okay, good.
The entire ship begins to explode and shake and fall apart. And
aren't they just on water?
Yes,
shouldn't they just continue to glide?
They should
just slow down incrementally as you go because of the friction. I don't understand what's happening.
Turning off the engines doesn't do much in a ship. There's not a lot that happens.
I guess because it's so heavy that if you're not being propelled, I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's a bad thing to turn off the engines.
I feel like I've been in a boat.
Yeah.
Hold on. I've been in a boat. I don't feel like I have been in a boat before.
There it is.
And I'm trying to remember if we've ever just cut the engine. And I feel like we have. And we didn't, die.
I'm assuming he's setting off the explosions, but they don't really tell us that.
Say that? Okay. Yeah. I don't know. It was a weird scene.
So he calls the bridge and he's all like, the captain is dead. You have to evacuate the ship. And then he blows up stuff to prove that he can blow stuff up.
Yes, and to kind of fake the fires, right? Is this part?
Yes.
Is this when he fakes the fires?
Then he starts faking fires. And you're kind of like, what he needs to do is he needs to turn off the ship. Then he should call them and say, I'm in control of your ship. I've turned off your ship. And now your ship is going to begin to explode. Boom! And they're all like, no, we're not going to evacuate. He's like, I will continue to cause another explosion every 30 seconds until you call for the evacuation.
Every
Boom!
30 seconds? That's so fast, Dan. You're ruthless.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a question, Tony. How many golf clubs do you have in your golf bag? How many woods do you have in your typical golf bag? How many woods?
Well, let me say I have 0, but I feel like most people have 1, 3, 7, 1, 3, 5, so probably 3.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, you have your driver always, right? Most people have a 3 wood, and then you probably have like a 5 or a 7, and then you have a hybrid. But I don't know if hybrids were around in the 90s. I can't remember when that started.
So you don't have 6 or 7.
Oh no, God no! You would have like 7 to 9 irons for sure.
Oh,
but
really? You have lots of irons.
You don't have that many woods. Yeah.
Oh, so I guess
for sure not.
I guess he's only got 3 bombs.
That's a good point. They show
the pile. There's like 14 of them.
I mean, he has all woods from what I could tell. So if anyone was paying attention, they'd be like, "Why does he have 15 drivers? This guy can't even putt right now. He doesn't have a putter."
See, he should have seen the golf clubs and gone, why does that guy have 4 7 woods?
Right. Yeah.
And then that would stick. If you as a golfer, you would notice that, wouldn't you?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, definitely. It would be a weird. You'd open that bag and be like, "What the hell's going on? This guy doesn't play golf. He don't know nothing about nothing."
You golf salesman? Who knows?
Are you selling these woods? Because I'm interested.
So he's like, I'm gonna blow. I blow stuff up. I'm in control. 15 minutes to evacuate. Burn it down, and then the fires go. And they did these weird. There's fire doors, which I was like, that can't be real. But there are fire doors. Maybe they're probably on the ship. I guess.
Maybe they are. Yeah, I honestly have no idea. I mean, I suppose like engine room and stuff to stop the fire from spreading to passenger quarters. Maybe.
Yeah. So
I don't know.
There are these doors that they can shut. The deaf girl gets locked in an elevator. Jason Patrick's like, okay, I'm going to go to the bridge. I need to know what's going on because these fires seem fake, right? Because he smelled the fires. Yeah. He's all like, that's a sulfur fire. How could there be a sulfur fire on a boat? Which would make a lot of sense if you're a fucking firefighter.
Yep.
But he's a fucking stupid LAPD. So he goes to the bridge, and what does he mean to say? I'm LAPD. I'm allowed to be here. You're like, what the fuck are you talking about?
You're in international waters, bitch. You have no jurisdiction here whatsoever. Get out of my cockpit. Engine room? What is it called?
So weird.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Wait, there was a good moment. What guy?
There was?
Something that happens at the boat. Okay, so they evacuate everybody except one boat, and then we get a whole action scene where they have to save the people from the boat, and then he goes down there, and then there's a jammed winch, and then he climbs down there, and then a couple people fall to their deaths, I assume.
Oh, yeah, they're for sure dead. This is... Okay, yeah, you finish.
There's lots of whining, lots of music, and then Annie eventually just gets the gangplank to go down, and everybody just sort of walks off.
Yeah, a lot of problems with this scene, Dan.
Oh, wait, hold on. I haven't done my thing. Here's my explanation of the camera work of this movie. Sorry. This is the movie. Are you ready for the movie? This is the movie.
You're going to make me sick. Also, don't forget about the flashing lights for a good 45 minutes with shaky camera and flashing lights. I felt like I was going to throw up the whole time.
I've never seen a camera so shaky as this movie.
It's so bad, man. It's awful, awful stuff. Really, truly terrible. Okay. Anyhow, so back to this boat thing, right? So the reason why the two people fall is because one of the ladies is trying to climb out, and our hero says, "Don't climb out. You're gonna unbalance it," or something like that.
Yes,
and then they fall to their death.
Yes,
but then Dante crawls out on the edge of it and almost falls off. So Jason Patrick jumps onto the boat.
Yes.
And that doesn't cause it to lose its balance? Well, that doesn't make any sense to me.
It's never, because it's not about her. It's because what he said was bullshit.
Right?
Well, right. Because these are the two lines are fixed.
Right. Yep. 100%.
That's not about balance.
It's just weird. And then nobody else is helping. He's the only guy that climbs down and tries to help them. Yeah. All of the boat people are just kind of standing there. And then they're like, whoa, what is he doing? What's he doing?
Oh, stop it.
I don't know what he's doing down there.
What's going on? We're going to yell stop it at him for the first half of this thing. Then we're going to be like, tell us what to do.
Don't help those people. Don't help those people. They're dead already. It's bizarre. And then Annie is just like, well, let's just use this thing here that goes right down to the boat. I don't understand what's happening.
It's weird. Then we see the girl in the elevator, the deaf girl. She does a thing where she puts the arms here and the legs there. Then she crab walks up and then is able to reach around and push up the thing and then climb out through the exit of the elevator.
Yeah. Dan, how small is that elevator?
Very small.
She's, I don't know what, 4 foot? 5 foot at most?
4 and a little more.
How is she reaching all the two opposite sides of an elevator to climb up it?
Very small. And then somehow maneuver out the hole.
Also, jimmy it open, because I imagine it's heavy. How does she... it's bizarre. It doesn't make a lick of sense. I mean, yeah, I don't know what to say. I don't get it. I don't get it.
It was weird.
If I lay down and I am a really tall guy, if people don't know this, I'm about 5'10", so below average. I can't reach the opposite sides of an elevator. For sure not. Not even close. Like maybe if you go door side to back, right? Instead of lengthwise. Maybe I could do it then, but
maybe you could.
I don't know, man. We should test it. Let's get in an elevator.
She should have been on board as like a gymnast. Then we'd been like, oh, okay, she's a gymnast.
That would have been fun, yeah. And then watch her do some gymnasty things.
So Patrick's on the bridge. He's like, he stands there and he goes like, okay, the bombs with the smoke are rolling around. Somehow he figures out that they're rolling around, and then he goes like this. So they're in golf balls, and there's a crazy golf ball person on the ship.
Geiger's the bad guy.
Got him.
He's definitely the bad guy. It's Geiger. I've known it the whole time. He hit on my girlfriend. He's the bad guy.
Because there's golf balls rolling around causing fake fires. That is your
also, why are there golf balls in this engine room? Or where are they? What's it called?
The idea is that the golf balls roll based on the ship moving, and then that causes the smoke.
No, I mean, I get all that, but he says it because he visually sees two golf balls in wherever they are, wherever they are.
Some ceremonial golf balls on the...
Yeah, so he picks them up in his hand. He's like, golf balls. That's the only explanation. What? What do you mean, guy?
It's so weird.
It's great. Great detective work. 2 for 2, this guy. Unbelievable.
He's pretty good. So they go to the room. They find the leeches. Geiger decides to like torment them by like, I made the system.
Yeah.
I was sick. And then he's like, say goodbye, Alex. And then he presses the self-destruct button, and Alex like runs just in time and jumps out of the room. And they're the worst. Run out of the room and jumps, and
I mean, they're very, very bad, but also we cut to Annie's group of people, and they feel the boat shake when that explosion happens.
Yeah.
How does it make any sense to me?
This boat is so big, they couldn't feel that in a million years.
The boat is so big, Dan. There's no way that tiny explosion that didn't even kill the people in the room is felt by people across the ship. It's just not how things work.
Yep, so Annie and Dante are helping the weird people that are trapped in the hall. Annie goes and finds a chainsaw. She chainsaws through the door and then stands in the opening where the people would like to leave with the chainsaw running and points it at them, and she's all
not only running, it's not just running, it's still spinning. Like she's still holding the trigger. Like
the trigger.
What?
So you can have it run, and then when you push a trigger it spins?
I mean, I guess I don't know if that's how they used to be, but for sure, because you can start it, have the motor started, but then you go, you know what I mean?
She is menacing them with that, and they're all like, why are you menacing? Why don't you move
get
back?
That thing? And he has to tell her multiple times. I suppose it's because she can't hear, but it's just weird. It's very weird. She is not the same character as she is in the first movie at all. Let me ask you a question, Dan. You ever been face to face with a chainsaw? It's just very scary. That's all. We used to do haunted hay rides.
Yeah.
And there'd be a guy that, would have the chainsaw, and he'd come out of the shed, bust open, there'd be a strobe light, and he'd be like, ving, 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 ving. That was always the scariest part. That's all I wanted to talk about. It brought back a lot of PTSD.
Chainsaws, you don't mess with the guy with the chainsaw. And people that have a chainsaw know they have a chainsaw. You don't like
darn right.
Oh, this chainsaw. Oh, I'd forgotten. I was holding it.
And it's right in front of her face. It's right here when she's talking. It's dumb. Also, why is there a chainsaw on board? You need to cut down a lot of trees on a cruise ship.
So Alex is hanging out with the navigator, and then he goes down there and he's like, "We got to stop the ship." And he's like, "The dude's like, I can't stop the ship." He's like, "We got to slow down the ship. We got to flood the ship to slow it down." Why? Wait, why?
I don't know, man.
Have we established anything that's happening with the ship?
No. No.
So why does he want to slow it down?
Because it's speed?
There it is, because it's speed. He knows the movie he's in. So they do this whole thing, and then they're flooding the bottom of the ship, and then he sees the little girl, and he's all like, "Oh, I got to go save her." And he's all like, "I know exactly where to go." And he goes down, he saves her. Then they go through the laundry room, and they hang on the laundry thing, and then they go to the stairs, and then she's all like, "I love you." And he's all like, "How old are you?" And she's like, "I'm 18. I'll wait for you." And he's all like,
No, she said 15.
Oh, that's what I said. I did say, did I say 18? 15.
You said 18, which is great. That's fine.
She's like, "I'm 15. And he's all like, "Well, we'll see you then." Basically.
Right? Like, cool, baby. I don't know. It's really weird. Also, I don't understand the ship layout. I don't understand what just happened, how they went through a clothesline. It's weird.
How you leave an elevator that was on like one of the passenger decks, and you go through the top, and then you end up at the bottom of the ship. Yep. I don't know.
Doesn't make a lot of sense.
You don't head towards the bottom of the ship. No one ever heads towards the bottom of the ship.
Nope, that's not where you belong.
So they have a situation. Annie and Alex get back together. Everybody's there. Where is he? And he says, "He's everywhere." What the fuck would he mean he's everywhere?
Just spiritually.
Then he immediately catches him. I think he's got a gun at this point. Don't know where he got a gun.
Okay.
And he points at him, and he's like, "I got this bomb. I'll blow up the ship. Which he's already doing.
Right, which is he's already done a bunch of that.
And so Alex doesn't take the shot.
Yeah.
Doesn't take the shot.
Great stuff.
Good taking the shot and just be done with this guy and then deal with the consequences. I mean, he's ready to destroy the whole boat before.
Right, he's basically ready to sink it. So,
but now he's not willing to take the shot. And then Geiger's in control of the doors, and he's on the televisions. And because he's on the televisions, Alex shoots the televisions.
Because now he'll take the shot, huh?
Like, why are you shooting the It's not like he's looking back through the television. He's looking back through a camera, maybe somewhere.
Yeah. You know what? It would be wild if he shot the TV and then like the screen shatters and it's Willem Dafoe's head with a bullet in it. Like, oh, he was there the whole time.
That'd be good.
That'd be a fun twist, huh?
And then he gets to the one thing, and then he stops with enough time to see that there's like a little tiny black scratch, and he's like, "That's not a scratch." He doesn't say this. We're just supposed to figure this out. That's a trigger. And so he knows that there's a bomb on the door, and then Annie comes, and then he has to get her to tell him the number of what's on the bomb so that he can know what the bomb is. And then she does a thing, and then they catch it, and then they take it, and then the pin's not. All of these scenes are just
it's very confusing.
So bad.
Also, where does that thing go? Because we just kind of move on to the next scene, and that grenade is somewhere.
It's almost like you could have taken that with you and used it for something.
Hey, there you go. How fun is that? So
they want to slow down the boat because I guess they figured out that it's heading towards an island and that'll kill them or something.
I mean, well, because I think they said it's heading into the side of a cliff.
I mean, can't they all just jump off of the boat right before it hits the cliff?
So this is my question. Yeah. At any point, why don't we just abandon ship and then just, let the ship do what the ship does? You know what I mean?
Certainly there's like magical secret boats you could just use that you'd think that the first officer would know that there are magical boats that they could just, you have a thing that goes down that you could just leave the boat.
But also, you could just swim at this point.
Yeah.
If we're going to crash into an island, we can swim. We're close enough at some point. We can just swim. I don't know.
Yep.
I mean, they talk about that people get sucked down into the propellers, and that's, that's part of the bad thing.
Don't believe that. Don't believe that for a second. Don't believe
well,
for a second.
Well, it happens a little bit later, so get ready for that.
So he's like, we got to stop the thing. So what we're going to do... Oh no! Then they see the oil tanker. They're heading right towards an oil tanker. He Geiger's looked out and said, "Oh, there's an oil tanker. I'll just boop, 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 boop."
I guess I'll just adjust it straight to that.
Yeah. So Alex is like, "Throw me in the water, and then we'll put a rope on the thing, and that'll do a thing, and might do a thing." He goes in the water, and then he does the thing, and then he gets caught by the rope, but not really caught by the rope. So we don't see him injured or anything happen.
Oh, yeah, I know he's fine.
And Geiger has taken the time to come down there to start menacing people. And so Alex has fixed it. Alex is up there, and Geiger's got Annie. So he grabs Annie. He's like, "I'm taking her hostage." But he says, what does he tell him he has to do? He has to do. Oh, they do the badge number bit in the midst of all this. The winch. The winch collapses. Refers to the leeches as his little nurses.
Yeah. That's so cute.
The tanker's trying to pull up anchor. Okay, so he's like, "Let go of Alex," because Alex is on a rope or something, and Alex has to let go of the rope. And then I guess supposedly the propellers are going to suck him in, and he's going to die.
They suck him right in.
And then how do they save him? They throw him.
So she pushes the button as he's dragging her away because Willem Dafoe didn't pay enough attention. So she starts the winch again, I guess.
So I guess he's able to swim.
Yeah, he's fine. He's totally fine.
He gets out. Annie's taken. He puts her in this other boat. She ties her up, and then as he's leaving, then Alex tries to make the jump, and he misses it. So he's in the water.
It's super weird. And then there's no consequence to it. He jumps
back in,
says Annie, and then he just climbs right back up. Why didn't he get sucked into the propeller? Yeah, that's what I thought, Dan. You can lick your lips at me all you want, sir. I don't understand anything. He jumped into the water behind the boat. He should have died. He should have been sucked into that propeller that we've been talking about all day. If not, everyone should just jump off the back of the boat and be fine. Also, my favorite thing in the world, Dan, is when we cut to the tanker and they're pulling up the anchor. Hey, that rhymes. The captain says something along the lines of, "How long is it going to take to get moving?"
8 minutes. 7 or 8 minutes is what he said. 7 or 8 minutes.
8 minutes, guys. Well, this is not an exciting action scene. We have 8 minutes before anything happens.
And then the captain's like, "You got to do that faster, don't you know?"
Don't you know?
How am I going to do it faster? It's like
so
things
weird.
like that. This is not Star Trek where you're like, "Oh, just throw some more dilithium crystals in there and it'll work out." This is like if somebody says to you it's going to take 5 minutes to do this, you can't say do it in half that. You can't do it in half that.
It's like, no, it takes 5 minutes, guy. That's how long it takes. I'm not guesstimating. This is how long it takes.
Yeah, it's not. You can't do a bonus thing to make a machine turn on. It's like boil that water faster. You're like, no, water boils at the amount it boils at. That's how it works. Oh my God,
it's great stuff. I love this movie.
Okay, boom, boom, boom. They're running out of time. Then they got to go down and back to where they caused the problem with the ballast. And then they got to undo that by swimming underwater. And people complain about not being able to swim. And it's just like, oh my God, I do not care.
What is happening?
Then at the last minute, they turn enough and they scrape against the thing and they're okay. And everybody's like, we lived.
Yeah, yes, it's for a brief moment. And then it's the best part of the movie.
What's the best part of the movie?
The next 30 seconds, every character in this movie says, "Oh, shit," as they look at where they're heading. And there is 6 cuts in a row of different people going, "Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, shit." It's so weird. I've never seen anything like it before in my life. And I love it.
They should have had the whole town look up and see the thing, and then the town could have been
"Oh, shit.
Oh, shit."
Just a collective. That would have been amazing. This movie would have gone from terrible to amazing instantaneously.
So they throw down the anchor, and then one anchor blows up, and then they go for anchor 2, and then they're like, anchor 2 is stuck. Yeah. And I thought they were going to have to do something to unstick Anchor 2. Like, nah, we don't have room for that.
Won't worry about it.
So
it's going to
then
be fine.
We have a lot of wacky things where the boat hits people that are water skiing and they're like, whoa, 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 whoa. Or they're on a boat and they're all like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And then it just sort of slow motion runs and we keep on like seeing how fast it's going. And he's like, we're going 4 knots, 3 knots.
Do you remember where it started? How fast it started?
10.
Right.
10.5.
Now, Dan, do you know how fast 10 knots is?
No.
It is approximately 11.5 miles per hour.
Yep. 11 miles an hour.
Speed 2, 11 miles per hour. What is happening? This is the least exciting action sequence in the history of cinema.
But there's all these funny things that happen. There's like a guy who has a car, and there's like a dog that runs away and that gets on the car, and that the dog barks at the thing, and then you're like, what's going to happen to that dog?
Nothing. But you knew what was going to happen in the car, right? Or you immediately were like, well, that anchor's going to fall in the car, right? I felt like that was pretty obvious.
Oh, I really wasn't paying attention. I missed that.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah. And then
it's just bad.
Then
it's just really bad.
Hits a little bell in a bell tower and it goes boom, and that was the end. Yep. So and then it tips over a little. And then they're all like, "We lived." So he goes
he says, "We're docked" or something like that. Which is it's a funny line. It's funny.
So Alex goes and steals a boat from the guy that they stole the car from in the first Speed movie.
Yeah, of course.
And he's like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? And his girlfriend's all like, this is great. I'm enjoying all of this.
She's just having the time. She's at points, she's screaming, woo, woo. She's woohooing. It's really weird.
And then somehow Annie and Geiger are in different boats. I missed all that.
Tandem jet skis that are I've never seen this before, but are connected into one. Like they're docked into something that makes them one boat, but they can release. There's just a lever that just says release, and each one can be released from it. I've never seen anything like that. I'm sure it exists, but he takes her on a joint jet ski and just doesn't expect her to pull the release lever. That's the crux of it. He's shocked when she pulls the release lever to get away from him. I can't believe you thought of that. I don't know. So that's great stuff.
We have he eventually jumps back onto her boat.
Yeah.
Let's see where am I at? Somehow the boat that what's his name steals $150,000 boat.
It's a fancy boat.
Okay.
I think that's just a callback to Speed 1. I can't remember how much he says his car is worth, but it's also I think it's like $100,000 car or something. So they just had to up the ante. For Speed 2, cruise control.
So Geiger gets to a seaplane that he has waiting there for him. He gets on the seaplane, and then Alex has to shoot it with a fishing pole, and then he goes out the front, and then he's like water skiing, he's just doing like this, and then he pushes the little button on it that's reel it in, and he goes...
Do you have any idea of the forearm strength that would be necessary to hold onto a vertical pole while your body weight is being dragged against the waves without a board of some sort? Which, by the way, he very clearly has. Did you notice that?
No, I didn't.
He's very clearly on like some sort of wakeboard, kneeboard type. There is a board underneath him because the waves are spraying and you can see it under his body. And I was like, okay, you guys should do a better job of shooting that, but that's fine.
No, the thing, the unbelievable thing to me is that fishing line is going out there and it's a fishing pole that shoots out. I'm like, I don't know what this is. And
some sort of deep sea fishing type of thing.
And this thing has attached to that boat so that it's able to carry a 200-pound man,
a human,
through the water and all the. I'm just like, what
and pull him closer. And it pulls him closer. There's so much tension on that line.
This little motor that's in this thing is then pulling him in.
Yep.
Then he gets on the boat and he punches him, and then
as you would
somehow the two of them end up on one of the pontoons of the boat.
Yeah, it just falls off. I kind of wasn't sure how this happened either, but they're on it and then it just falls off at some point and they ride it down, which is weird to say the least.
He goes going right towards the oil tanker. He pulls up, but there's like a pole and he hits the pole and then I guess he gets stuck on the pole.
Here's what happens. Yes, I mean, you're absolutely right. But this is why it's weird. He pulls up over the ship. Right? He's pulling. He looks over his shoulder and he notices he's safe and he smiles, but continues to look down. He's like this. I've made it. And then he looks forward and he runs into a pole. Now, the problem with that is that one, he's fine. Like he just kind of sits on it. He's like, whoa, what just happened? He's out the window, right? I mean, he's getting propelled out. That's a sharp stop.
Yes. Just like the people that shot out the window when the boat was coming in. Somehow it's coming in and they shoot forward out of a window.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't understand that.
I don't know what to tell you, but that is what happened. The thing that's weird is that it doesn't look like
one
he
thing
ran.
That's weird.
He didn't like wedge through it, right? Yeah. Like crisscross. It just looks like he landed on it. That's the way when they cut back to it, that's what it looks like. He just landed on it. I don't know. It's really weird.
It's really weird. So Annie somehow is tied up and then she's sinking and then Alex can't find her and then he finds her and then he gives her the breath of life. Which
is not sexy in this movie, but when the mermaids do it in Hook, it's the sexiest thing in the world. Do you remember that? You don't remember that. I'm disappointed in you, Dan. You're ruining my whole childhood.
Geiger's alive up on the pole, and then it drips gasoline, which then blows up the entire tanker.
Yep. Which is what they were trying to avoid the whole time, I'm pretty sure. Isn't it?
So he did
Isn't
it.
that what they were doing?
They're all right. They see the bag of diamonds, and the guy in the boat's like, international waters, I get to keep them.
But how does he know what's in the bag? He wasn't on the ship, Dan. He just sees a backpack floating in the water, grabs it and goes, look what I found in international waters. He doesn't know what he found. For all he knows, it's nothing in there. It's just a bunch of towels. It is so weird.
He gives Annie the ring, which somehow he's had in the pocket the whole movie.
And never lost it? Come on. He's been in the water.
And she's all like, okay, but only if I get to make the travel plans from here on out.
Wow, wow, wow.
Then we have a post scene where Annie's taking her driver's test again, and poor Tim Conway's, I'm afraid.
I would be afraid too. She was a terrible driver.
And she almost runs into a bus and she's all like, stay off of those things.
And then she screeches out, right? They cut to black and there are crash sounds.
Oh, really?
Did you notice that?
No, I didn't.
There's literally car crash sounds. And then music starts. Why?
This
is like driver. Three Stooges shit.
She's a bad driver. She's a bad
Are they all dead, Dan? Is that the end of this movie?
Yes, Tony. That's the end of this movie. It was
what a good time.
It was terrible.
It's really bad.
It was one of those movies where you're like, I don't even want to watch these action scenes because there's not going to be anything in them that's even good.
What action?
Yeah. There's non-action. It's like, I'm all for like a person having to swim somewhere and you're afraid they're going to die because that's scary. That's scary shit.
Absolutely.
And we've seen that in movies many times where you're like,
because they can't find the opening. You're like, oh my god, you're gonna die. Yeah, that's my nightmare. Drowning is not how I want to go.
So that's how Tony's got to go, people. Let's make it happen.
So we gotta make it happen, baby. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, Dan. Right?
What's the thing, Tony?
Keanu read the script and was like, No,
man.
I'm not doing that movie. They put him in movie jail for, I think it was almost 10 years. They wouldn't make another movie with him because he turned this movie down.
Really?
Which is, I get it, because I think they blame him for it not doing well. But this movie would not be better with Keanu in it.
No.
That is not the problem with this movie. Keanu was right, and this script is fucking trash. Horrible movie. Made worse because the first one is so good, and you just throw away everything that movie did for this movie.
Shouldn't do that.
He made the right choice. Can you imagine if he would have come back? Oh God, what a disaster. His life would be very different, I think.
Yeah. Now he's one of the greatest action heroes of all time.
Yes, sir.
Hands down, period.
Yes, sir. Matrix, John Wick, The Replacements. Oh, that's a good movie.
Is that about football players?
That is about football players. Oh, I'm proud of you, Dan.
I understand things. So yeah, this one just like there's not even anything to hang your hat on that you kind of like.
No,
there's just really nothing entertaining about this movie.
It's a nothing movie, and don't watch it.
Sandra Bullock looks good all through it, though.
I mean, when does she? Oh, speaking of which, happy birthday, Sandra B. We're recording this 2 days after her 60th birthday.
Oh,
yeah,
excellent. She's great. Now we talk about something we liked this week. We found this new YouTube channel. He's called the Craigslist Hunter, and he runs a pawn. It's not a pawn shop, but it's like a It's like a pawn shop, but he just buys and sells. He doesn't pawn.
Okay.
So, and it's in Wisconsin or someplace.
Oh, Wisconsin.
I think it's called Crystal Lake.
Like, as in Friday the 13th, Camp Crystal Lake?
I think it's called that or something.
Okay.
And his name is Pete. He's like this Polish guy. And Pete. He makes like a video every week. And, it's just like mostly it's just a static cam of like, the front counter, and people bring stuff in, and then he negotiates with them, and there's just...
And you're watching this, Dan?
Oh, it's so good. I've been watching all of it. I just watching ones this morning where he goes dumpster diving. And
like literally?
Literally goes dumpster diving.
No, I'm not doing that.
He went on Black Friday because he's like, everyone's going to be out in front.
Sure.
It's very smart. And then this other one, he went back behind Petco, found a gigantic full-size aquarium, perfect shape. He also found a dog cage and like 15 big bags of dog food that weren't expired. What? And the coolest thing was he took the dog food and he gave it to the local shelter for free.
Yeah, that is good.
And you're just like, oh my God. And it's just, there's a lot of stuff like that where it's like kind of heartwarming stories,
Sure.
About this guy. Like, he's real straightforward and he's never bullshits these people. He's always like, I can't, I got to pay you 50% of what it's worth. I can't give you what you could get on eBay,
Right, because I'm a business and I have to make business when I sell it. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, that makes perfect sense.
It's super entertaining, super fun. What do you got, Tony? You watch it on the television?
What?
That was you.
No, I think that we all saw this coming from last week, Dan.
We saw
Twisters.
Terrible.
Unreal.
Terrible.
It is so good. Perfect movie. Don't listen to the people that say it's not perfect because of the ending, because it is perfect and you are idiots. But I can't spoil it.
Oh, so it has a terrible ending. I'm so happy.
No, there's one thing missing from this movie that people are like upset about, but they're wrong. Spielberg was like, hey, cut that. And they did. And now everyone's mad that they cut it.
Oh, okay.
I'll just tell you, it's the kiss. They don't kiss at the end of the movie. Spoiler alert. And they're all mad about it, and it's wrong. That's not what the movie's about.
Oh,
it's not a rom-com.
Because he should be kissing you, Tony. Is that why?
I mean, I'm not against it. Glenn, if you're listening, I'm here. I got big, soft, pouty lips. It's going to be nice.
So you love Jason Patrick. We've established that.
I love Jason Patrick. He's great. Oh, nope. No, I'm not, So let's see here. What has he been in, Dan, that we like?
Well, we're gonna find out.
Oh no! Are you picking another Jason Patrick movie?
Of course I am. I'm picking one of his earliest movies.
One of his earliest.
Jason Patrick, boy. Jamie Gertz, Lucas Haas.
Who's Jamie Gertz?
Jamie Gertz? You don't know who Jamie Gertz is?
It sounds familiar. Should I know?
Yeah, I mean, the same sort of time period. She's been in movies. She's a movie star.
Okay, great.
The movie we're picking is a sci-fi.
Wait. I know who she is. I just looked her up. You're doing Lost Boys?
No, we're not doing Lost Boys.
Oh, thank God. Okay, I was gonna fight you right now because that is the greatest film of all time.
We're doing a classic. The classic is Solar Babies.
What the hell is that? Solar Babies? Which was made the year before The Lost Boys. Okay. Oh, that's fun. So she plays Star in The Lost Boys as Jamie Gertz. So they did movies back-to-back years. I wonder if there's a little something going on. We'll have to do a little research.
They said who Jason Patrick was. Jason Patrick dated somebody, and then he dated this other woman, and then she had a baby with his sperm, and then he wanted the baby. There's a whole weird thing.
Wait, what are you saying? Okay, I'm gonna have to do some deep diving on Jason Patrick because that sounds like a soap opera, and I love it.
By deep diving means go to Wikipedia. He was.
Yeah, I mean, when I say deep dive, I just Google it.
We don't do any actual work.
No.
Yeah, Solar Babies is, I think, going to be one of those super duper terrible. Well, I watched the trailer and it just looks like it's going to be terrible.
Okay.
They're roller skaters, you know.
The roller skaters, not what I Solar Babies. I'm gonna have to watch the trailer. I'm so confused on everything you're saying. Solar Babies are roller skated. Nope.
Yep, it's going to be good. So, if you like what you see, give us a thumbs up, give us a subscription, or leave a comment. We haven't had a comment in a few months, so we're ready for another one.
So bring it on, everybody. Say a word, just one.
We're working towards 1 million subscribers. Once we get to that, Tony and I can quit our jobs.
Slow and steady wins the race. That's what they say, Dan.
It's gonna happen. It happens. You know, it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. If we make it 10 years, I think we're gonna have a good following.
I can promise you, I'm not making it 10 years.
Well, I don't like that defeatist attitude, Dan. We're already halfway there. Yeah. What is this, year 6?
You might make it to 10 years, but I'm not. I don't know if
I'm gonna make an AI version of you, and I'll just do the show without you from here on out.
You know, the Olympics is doing AI Al Michaels.
I did not know that. Okay. I'm gonna have to check that out.
Did you watch the opening ceremonies last night or
no,
yesterday?
I didn't. I should probably watch them on video on demand, as they say.
It was very long and endlessly terrible.
Oh, okay, great. I don't want to watch it. Why would you try to make me watch it, Dan?
Because it's endlessly terrible.
Endlessly terrible.
Everybody's all like, that's the greatest thing. Like, no, we watched it. China was the greatest thing ever. This one, pretty bad.
China was cool.
Yeah, China was great. This one, there's like a 20-minute boat ride. You're just like, I don't need a 20-minute boat ride.
Why are we on a boat?
Oh, because they don't
the River Thames.
They don't do it in the stadium. They do it on the River Seine.
That's okay. Well,
so
I knew it was a river of some sort.
All the athletes were on boats and and it was raining on them. It was pretty terrible.
I know. I heard it was just like downpouring, which is too bad because you can't really fix that.
Yeah, the first Olympic thing we watched, we were watching the time trial bicycles, and our person lost it in the rain like 3 times. Then her bike broke, and they were bringing her their next bike. And as the mechanic was getting out of the car with the bike, he fell down in the. It was like, oh my god!
No!
They're like, never gonna get worse than that.
Oh, that's so sad. You worked for so long, and it just fucking goes to shit. Yeah. Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah. So we'll be back next week talking about Jason Patrick and the Solar Babies.
Goodbye, everybody.
Hey,